This video will review one of the key skills taught in Cooking Matters programming, knife skills and safety. We will walk you through best practices and tips in this lesson. I'm going to demonstrate proper handling, parts of the knife, the cutting motion, claw, and other safe practices. Generally, I like to have the station set up before the participants come into class and ask the participants not to touch the knives and leave them on top of the cutting board until we start to cook. When it's time to start cooking, have your participants wash their hands. First, I like to talk about the parts of the knife. When talking about the parts of the knife, point to the part and say its name. So, handle, spine, tip, blade, and heel. So next, I explain proper ways of holding the knife. So first way, we're going to take our fingers and put it on the handle, just like this. The second way, we're going to take our pointer and our thumb and pinch the spine of the knife. The next thing we're going to talk about is the cutting motion. Now the cutting motion has multiple parts to it. The first thing we want to do is make sure we have the proper knife grip, which I just explained. The second thing is to make sure that the tip of our knife is lower than the heel. The third thing with this cutting motion is that it's a downward plus forward motion. So as I'm cutting, I want to be pushing the knife down and forward, like a rocking motion. What I do sometimes is have the participant make a pretend knife with their hand and try that rocking motion. The next thing we're going to go over is the claw. The claw is a way to protect our non-cutting hand. To make a claw, you want the participants to put their non-cutting hand in the air and make a claw or a C. Once they do that, have them put the claw on their cutting board and then you get that pretend knife out again. What you want to do is have that knife and the claw on the cutting board and tell participants to kick that elbow out so the claw is facing the knife. This claw is really important because it's going to protect that non-cutting hand. To have a proper claw, we need to have our fingertips tucked in, the center of our fingers nice and straight, and our thumb behind our fingers. So give the participants some time to practice the claw and the cutting motion together. Once you give them some time to do that, demonstrate those two things on an actual product. I'm going to use this apple here to show you how the cutting motion and the claw works together. One tip you want to give participants if they're cutting something unstable is to create a flat surface. So, using the claw in my cutting motion, I'm going to cut this apple. So notice that my fingertips are tucked in and my thumb's in the back. So one more time, fingertips tucked in, thumb in the back. And also notice my cutting motion. My tip is lower than the heel. As I'm pushing down, I'm also pushing forward. We want to make sure that we follow through with those cuts to ensure that we're cutting through the product. So now we talked about proper knife handling, the cutting motion, the claw, and parts of the knife. So let's talk about safety now. Ask your participants how they pass a knife. Once you've gotten their answer, show them how to properly pass a knife. The best way to pass a knife is to set it down and let somebody else pick it up. The reason why, if you pass a knife in the air, there's a potential of somebody grabbing the blade or dropping it. Also, you want to talk about when we're walking with the knife. When you're walking with the knife, you want to make sure the knife is to your side and you announce to the person behind you that you have a knife. That way they don't make any sudden movements. Also, as a chef educator, you want to make sure that you delegate tasks to the participants. You want to show the participants how you want things cut, but let them actually get that hands-on experience. As participants are cutting, walk around and give encouragement. That will make for a great class. And remember, Cooking Matters is about encouraging participants to use these skills at home. Thank you for watching the knife skills and safety video. Make sure to use your instructor guide, flipbook, and toolkits for additional information.